Yes, I did happen to watch that. I haven't watched the entire podcast. I've seen the clip in which he supposedly responds to my criticism of him on the same podcast, Ranveer Alabadia's podcast, the TRS, the Ranveer Show. So a few months ago, I've done, as you know, many podcasts with Ranveer. So a few months ago, he had asked me, Ranveer, on his podcast about my views, my opinion about Veer Das's actions abroad, the things he said about India on foreign soil and all that. And I had essentially criticized him. uh, I don't remember exactly what I said. I haven't watched that clip again. It's been so long. But apparently, I called him a brown coolie. Yeah, and so Veer Das. So Ranveer, in this clip that I saw a couple of days ago, he asks Veer Das to respond to my criticism, and Veer Das says that me calling him a brown coolie is racist. Apparently, yeah. So, so me calling Veer Das a brown coolie is apparently racist. Before I even address that, it's perfectly fine for Veer Das to make all kinds of anti-India, anti-Hindu statements. It's fine for him to call all Indian men rapists. That's not offensive. But me calling him brown coolie is offensive. He gets upset. What sort of logic is this? I mean, that's hypocrisy. Now, when it comes to him saying that me calling him a brown coolie is racist, is it even possible to be racist against someone of your own ethnicity? I mean, Veer Das is Indian. I'm Indian. We are the same people. We are the same ethnicity. We have essentially the same heritage, same past, same ancestry. How can I be racist to my own ethnicity? Is it even possible? Yeah, and um, maybe he has taken issue to this word coolie. Yeah, and maybe the term coolie is apparently racist in his mind. So Veerdas is attempting to construct a career in the United States. He must be very uh, aware of US culture. Is he aware of something called the rap industry, the rap music industry in the US? It is dominated by African American people. Yeah, all these rap stars. Yeah, Coolio and LL Cool J. I don't know. There must be many more these days. I'm not really keeping track of it. Now, in the US rap industry, and Virda says that me using the word coolie against him is like using the N word against an African American person, black person. So he's equating coolie with the N word. In the US rap industry, if you listen to the rap music, they use the N word all the time. In the US, it is perfectly acceptable for a black person to use the N word. For it is used sometimes as a term of endearment among black people, sometimes in other ways as well. Yeah, but it's perfectly acceptable for a black people to use the N word. It is completely unacceptable for a white person to use the N word because of the history, because the white people invented this word, and they have used it for centuries in a derogatory way, in a racist way against black people. So for a white person to use the N word is completely unacceptable. Black people use it all the time. That's how it is. That's a social convention. Similarly, among Indians, the same way, if a white person were to use the word coolie for an Indian or for a Chinese person or a Japanese person or an Eastern Asian person, that would be racism. But an Indian person using that word coolie is obviously not racism. You can't be racist against yourself. So this is a rather ridiculous thing that Veer Das has said. He's trying to portray himself as a victim here. Yeah. And if the word coolie is apparently racist in his mind, then what is this exactly? The 1983 movie Coolie, starring one of Bollywood's great superstars, Amitabh Bachchan. Is this a racist movie? Or maybe it's an old movie from 1983. Maybe times have changed. Yeah. Then what about this movie, Coolie number one, with some Bollywood people who I don't really know? This is a very recent movie, Coolie number one. Is this also a racist movie, Virdas? What sort of logic do people come up with? How is the term coolie racist when an Indian person uses it? Yeah. If a white person calls an Indian racist or a Chinese racist or a Japanese person or anybody else racist, calls them coolie. If a white person uses the word coolie, that's racism. An Indian person using the word coolie is not racism. Now let's understand. Some people would say that I use the term coolie out of anger or out of emotion. Well, that's not the case. Yeah. Let's what is the meaning of the term coolie? What's the definition of coolie? in the historic sense. A coolie is a person who carries heavy loads. Yes, typically these are the porters you will see at railway stations. Historically, they've been used. You had these porters who would carry heavy weights on railway stations, and they were called coolies. Yeah, historically. So a coolie is a person who carries heavy loads. That's what a coolie is. Now, so I use the term coolie as in the sense of a brown man, Veerdas, carrying the white man's burden. You may have heard of the poem White Man's Burden, which was written by the very racist Indian born British poet Rudyard Kipling, The White Man's Burden. And in this poem, he says that the white people are their responsibility is to civilize the non-white people, because non-white people are backward, primitive, all that barbaric. Yeah. And the white people are civilized, so it is the white man's burden to civilize the non-white people, the brown people, the black people, and so on and so forth, the Eastern Asian people, the Indians, and all that. So even today, these racist tropes, these racist attitudes still continue. So today you will see in the West, in the US, in the UK, their publications like the Guardian, the New York Times, the New York Post, the Washington Post, and so on and so forth. They carry these very strongly anti-India articles, but they usually employ Indian origin people to write these things. Very racist, very patronizing, very derogatory articles about India, and it's usually Indian origin people who are made to write these articles, so that they can say that we didn't write it. It's an Indian origin person who write it. Our hands who wrote it. Our hands are clean. So today, it's perfectly acceptable to be racist against Indians in the West, and especially against Hindus. Yeah, but not against certain other religions. So racism is acceptable against Indians and against Hindus in a certain way, and they typically employ Indian origin people to write these derogatory articles. That means that they are making the Indian origin people, the brown people, to carry the white man's burden, and they can say that our hands are clean. So Veer Das is one of those brown coolies. He is carrying the white man's burden. Yeah, in the sense that he's going outside of India. He's performing apparently as a comic in the US and other places. I believe, I don't know, and he's ridiculing India. He's making fun of India. He's criticizing India. Uh, so that is what I meant by Veer Das being a brown coolie. He is carrying the white man's burden on behalf of the people who he wishes to please. Yeah, because he wants to create a career in the US, and obviously he's not a very funny guy. He's rather unfunny, but yeah, he serves the purpose. He serves the purpose of carrying the white man's burden. So that's what I meant by calling Veerdas a brown coolie, and I stand by it. It is not racist in any way whatsoever. His contention that I was being racist against him is risible. It is asinine. It is laughable. It's ridiculous. Yes. Now, the thing is, Veerdas, did he address my criticism in his when Ranveer invited him to do so? I don't think he was able to address my criticism at all. My criticism was, why did you criticize India abroad? Why did you make fun of India abroad? Why did you ridicule India abroad? It's you will never see an American person coming to India and then ridiculing their country. You will never see a Chinese person coming to India and ridiculing their country. You will never see a person from the UK coming to India and ridiculing the UK. You will never see a French person coming to India and ridiculing France. But you will see lots of Indians, these brown coolies, who go to the West and attempt to ingratiate themselves over there by criticizing India, ridiculing India, making fun of India, saying whatever these people want you to say. Yeah. If you really care for India, in friendship, how it is, when two people are real, genuine friends, and one person needs to be criticized, that criticism is done in private. It's never done in public. When you have a small child and the child is maybe needs some improvement, you do the criticism of the child in private. You don't do it in public. Yeah, so if Veerdas really cares about India and he thinks India needs to change and India needs to improve, he could have said these things in India. But no, he chose to go half the planet away, the other side of the planet, and make fun of India in the US. And my question was, why did he do that? He has not answered the question. He has no answers. Veerdas is very brave to speak about India abroad. He has very bravely criticized India abroad, made fun of India abroad. He has very bravely ridiculed India abroad. Yeah, yeah. And you think that's bravery? There are no consequences for ridiculing India. There are no adverse consequences for ridiculing Hinduism. There are consequences for ridiculing certain other religions in some other countries, but he won't do that. You know. So he comes to Ranveer's show. Ranveer gives him the opportunity to address this, and he essentially plays the victim card. Yeah, he's making fun of India over there and all that. Now, I would like to invite Veer Das to, well, if he wants to, he can do this. He speaks about two Indias. Well, I would like to tell Veer Das that there are two Americas also. There are two Americas. Yeah, there is one America that he wishes to live in, the wonderful America that he wants to be a part of. But there is a second America, an America that conducted the genocide of at least 56 million Native Americans. Will Veer speak about that? There is a second America where which has a history of horrific racism against black people and non-white people, which still continues. Racial profiling, killing by cop, and so much more. Will Veer speak about this? There is a second America whose pharmaceutical industry exploits its own people. It's all coming out these days. Will Veer speak about that second America? There is a second America where homelessness is rampant, where gun crime is rampant, drug abuse, child abuse, sexual abuse is rampant. Will Veer speak about that? There is an America where California is has descended into hell-like status. There is no rule of law and order. There are people doing drugs on the street. There are people crapping on the streets. There are people living on the streets. The homelessness. It's terrible, and there is no rule of law. Will Veer speak about that? There is a city called Chicago in the US where there are more crimes and rapes in a weekend than you have in India in Delhi or Mumbai over a month. Will Veer speak about that? Will Veer speak about the US, the second America, which killed 2 million Iraqis, innocent men, women, children, innocent people in their invasion of Iraq, directly and indirectly. The shock and awe campaign, which blasted, which flattened cities and killed everyone within. Will Veer speak about that? There is the second America, which is still right now as we speak carrying out a war by proxy in Yemen and killing civilians. Will Veer speak about that? There is a second America which tested two nuclear weapons on Japanese civilians in 1945. And this second America has been occupying Japan militarily against the will of its citizens since 1945. It's still happening today. Will Veer speak about that? So I'm inviting Veer to be balanced. You spoke about two Indias. Why don't you go and speak about two Americas and speak about that in the US? Let's see if you can do that. He will not do it because he's a coward. If he does that, if Veer does that, his precious little visa will be torn up. His hopes of a green card and future citizenship will evaporate, and he will have to come back to India, and he will have to entertain Indians with his comedy, his non-existent comedy. That's the problem. So that is my. If you want a response to Veer, that's my response to Veer. If you dare speak about two Americas, go ahead, brother, go for it. Yeah, I invite you to do that. Let's see if you can speak about two Americas in the US or even in India. Come to India and speak about it. Let's see if you do that. Yeah. So that's what I have to say about this. And I also saw that lots of people are criticizing Ranveer. Uh, Please don't do that. Why? What's the need? What's the reason for that? If Ranveer had not invited Veer on his podcast, you would not have seen Veer response. Yes. So please don't criticize Ranveer and whatever else. Yeah. I really appreciate the fact that Ranveer for inviting Veer and giving him the opportunity to give his non-response to my criticism. All right. So yeah, there it goes. That's my response to this entire thing. I hope the matter rests here, and let's see if Veer goes ahead and speaks about two Americas the way he was so bravely happy to speak about two Indias. Yeah, let's see if he does that.